Greetings, everyone. It is 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, and Prof, we're right on time.
Yeah, we've been both of us looking at the news relentlessly, just trying to figure out like what's going on, and a lot is going on. So we're going to catch you up to speed.
Yeah, what I've been doing all day is just indexing. After I put out my Ukraine update today, I just started indexing with a timestamp everything that has unfolded. And in addition to that, like we did on the other live stream, guys, I'm watching the feed directly out of the IDF. And I have a friend there as well. I get information from, and I trust it 100%. The friend. So
Mhm.
we're watching that, and we know that Donald Trump and his Security Council just finished their meeting. He's supposed to be making a statement. Over here, Prof, I have the AP up. If something goes
Yep.
live, we can go listen to
Yeah, yeah,
that. So we're set.
absolutely. So we'll give you the background of what's happened up to this point, and when something pops off, if something pops off, we'll stop and tell you what that is. But it's been pretty crazy what we saw happen over the last 24 hours,
It
and
has been,
like,
and guys,
yeah.
I love to talk with you guys in the chat, and we'll do it. But thank you in advance for both of us. If you're sending a super chat or a thank you, we deeply appreciate it. But there's so much information that I want to push through. It's not like a typical live stream where I'm bantering back and with you. I have so much
Mhm.
information on this right screen, it's difficult for me to even see the chat. So, in advance, thank you guys for me, and I'm sure you say the same, Prof.
We're gonna try to be as efficient as possible with your time, so let's get cracking.
Here we go. Let's do. I've got so much stuff. This is where we start. So, what we can confirm right now is we have an escalation. No matter what unfolds, we have an escalation. Israel, Iran, and now we add the United States to that. And I think that started, Prof, last night when President Trump left the G7.
Yep. Yeah. He started firing off these tweets as he was leaving. Why he was leaving, we weren't sure. It seems to have had something to do with the G7 statement that was being put out about how they want peace in the Middle East, and he wasn't interested in signing that. But there seemed to be something else going on at the same time, and we don't know exactly what was going on. But he was going back, and he was going to be meeting with his Security Council as soon as he got back in the Situation Room.
There was definitely some intelligence rolling. And I'm not going to say, of course, it was on the American side for him leaving the G7. And we're not there to talk about G7 now. We want to focus right here today. But I can tell you, Israel was sending a lot of information to the United States. And honestly, I wasn't surprised when he departed. So let's start logically. And I'm keeping my eye on the live feed, and I'm keeping my eye on the Associated Press, and I'm keeping my eye on Donald Trump's Truth Social. So here we go. I can confirm to you, and this is when I started indexing today. It was after I made the Ukraine update with the horrible night in Kyiv. And if you guys didn't see that, please go to Prof's channel or mine and see the update there. It's a very difficult night. But at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to do everything in Eastern Standard Time, just in case you're wondering, and I know we have people watching from all over the world, but Prof and I are both on Eastern Standard Time. It's 4:34. Israel, it's 11:34, and Iran is 30 minutes ahead of them. It's 12:04 a.m., but we'll go Eastern Standard Time. Israel launched at 11:30 a massive cyber attack against the country's digital infrastructure. And the graph there on the bottom left, Prof, is where their internet is working across. And then at 11:30, it was killed. I knew something was up. You're muted. Muted. What happened to your audio? Oh, I can lip read him. Yes, I'll lip read for him now. Can you hear me? Okay, he's checking something. Right now, I'll lip read for him. Um, The bottom line is, guys, I'll keep it going right now while he gets his audio back. But it was a massive cyber attack. Try that again.
Okay, I'm
There you
here.
go. Whatever you
Okay,
did.
sorry about that. I was just trying to say earlier that either of our morning things were all about Ukraine. And so we're not getting away from Ukraine, but this is important to understand too. And these things are related. So sorry
100%.
about the audio issue, but yeah,
Well, I was
I'm
reading
so
lips for them and telling them how much you. No, I'm just messing. So, okay, confirmed. We had this cyber attack. Basically, the entire network of Iran went down at 11:30
mhm.
a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're basing everything off of that. Let's continue. At noon, this came out. Donald Trump truthing, and I just use the word tweet because it's all
Yeah, just say
tweets to
that.
me.
That's
Yeah,
easier.
maybe more accurate. We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment, and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. Before you speak on that, I will tell you that what Israel was looking at, and even other nations around the world, was the word we and
Yeah.
not Israel.
Yeah. And so this was uh, so by itself in a vacuum, it's one thing, but you couple this with the tweets last night and the quick departure, and then this, and then in short succession, you had two more tweets that
I'm
were
bringing them up in a
pretty
minute.
like, whoa, what just happened? And we feel like we're on the cusp of something. What I'm seeing is a lot of conservative media, the peace mongers in the conservative side, the isolationist types that are really lashing out against Trump right now. Like, this isn't what I voted for. Yeah, it's not our problem, that sort of thing. And you couple that with Massey's bill that just came out, the War Powers bill that they're putting together. It's Massey and all Democrats.
Okay,
Like,
so let's
because
talk about that for a minute.
yeah,
Then we'll go back to the tweets.
no,
Because
we'll get to it
no,
when we
no,
get to it.
tell us
Oh, you
about
got
it.
it here. Okay.
I've got it, bro. Come on, we
Yeah, yeah.
pros. Yeah,
All right. So, well, we knew this was coming, right? I mean, we knew that we were going to be talking about this. So, Massey is a Republican from Kentucky who's in that kind of MAGA like and isolationist camp. But everybody else that signed on to it that I've seen so far have all been Democrats. Now, if you remember the aid bill that was passed through Congress year and a half ago, whatever it was, that bill was uh okay, it was coupling both Ukraine aid and Israel aid simultaneously, and the Republicans largely came in for Israel, and kind of many of them held their nose about it because they didn't want to give to Ukraine if they were in the MAGA camp. Now there were people like me who would have given to both, right? I'm the old school kind of conservative, the Reagan conservative. I would have been like, no, we need to support them, we need to support them. Okay. The Democrats were largely, if they voted against it, it was because of Israel. And if they voted for it, they were holding their nose about the Israel part, even if they wanted to support Ukraine. So it's politics makes strange bedfellows. And this is what we're seeing with this resolution now.
and just so you guys know, Massey is a rep from Kentucky, and
Republican,
the
yes.
a Republican rep from Kentucky, and Conan is a Democratic rep
I'm not
from
sure where he's from.
California. I looked it up.
Okay.
He's from California. So,
Okay. Yeah, so this is supposed to be trying to take war powers back, whatever. We haven't actually declared war since 1942. We didn't declare war in Korea like we're supposed to, or in Vietnam like we were supposed to, or the Persian Gulf. You're in a state of war as soon as there's hostilities, right? So if you attack, like theoretically, we're in a state of war with the Houthis, right? So now can somebody was asking, well, okay, can the president do this alone? He can get it started alone, but Congress can bring him in after 60 days. He has to be like, if there is, war involved, he has to answer to Congress within 60 days. So
okay, thank you.
that's how that is supposed to go.
Okay, that helps. Now, um, I think this is the perfect place to play this clip because nothing live yet on AP. Lindsey Graham was speaking earlier today, and he's the opposite side. He wants to go level everything. So, are we seeing just fractures everywhere, whether it be in MAGA, Republican, Democrat. We're just seeing a lot of disarray right now is how I view it. So listen here to Lindsey Graham, and then let me hear your thoughts on this, Prof. Here we go.
The headline from the president on Truth Social that he tweeted last hour, he said 2 words, unconditional surrender. What, Senator, does that mean to you in regards to the Ayatollah in Iran?
It suggests to me that the president believes that the nuclear program cannot be ended through diplomacy, that unconditional surrender is a sign, is a term often used with a war. And I talked to the president last night. I just want to say this. I'm so glad he is where he is at. He's the right guy at the right time. He's calm as he can be. He's resolved. He's steady. I think he's done a marvelous job of handling this conflict. And I believe the sun is about to set on the Iran nuclear ambitions. They need our help, Israel does, to take out Fordo. They need help from us. I'm hoping the president will provide Israel the help they need to finish the job of the last nuclear site underground. And if we accomplish destroying the Iranian nuclear program, it will be historic for the region and historic for the world.
So you're hearing the whole other side of it now.
Yeah. Yeah, if you do, and you can retard the program for another 40 years, we probably won't see it again in our lifetime, right? I mean, like, I plan to live as long as I can, but think about it. It's just, this is going to be a huge setback from Iran. It was in the 81, I think, was when the Israelis took out the thing with Iraq. And at the time, they were roundly criticized by the UN, and they were going to do it anyway because, again, when a country is making existential threats, and I want to say something here. This is really important because somebody was asking. This was a MAGA Republican type that was a good friend of mine, but he's just wrong about. In my estimation, he's wrong about how we shouldn't support Ukraine. I think we should, that sort of thing. And he was asking about Israel. I said, well, if Israel was attacking Pakistan, which is an Islamic state, I would say something's not right. Pakistan's not saber rattling saying we have to wipe Israel off the map. Iran is saying we have to wipe Israel off the map, and it's an existential threat because they mean it. Like that's the difference here. And so, okay, I understand what's going on. Now, what's actually happening to Iran is fascinating because it's so destabilized within the last 2 years, all the protests because of the way the Islamic regime is clamped down. I think you could see a color revolution. I mean, and now my question to you is, and maybe people should vote about it, pink or purple? I think I'm trying to figure out which one will more irritate the Ayatollah.
Well, I will tell you this. You brought up, you opened a whole can of worms here while I'm reading breaking news. And breaking news right now is Iran has sent the third message that the world will change overnight tonight. It has been repeated now 3 times. I do have it from I do have it from 30 minutes ago.
Their saber rattling.
Okay, now Yemen Houthis just said that they will collaborate with a full-scale aggressive attack against Israel tonight. That's just coming out. And also New York Times reporting that America is prepping to pop in. So all of this is...
Yeah, I think that's very likely. We don't know what they have or don't have. That's part of this is the fog of war, and we have to be humble about it.
Yeah.
Back in 2003, when the U.S. invaded Iraq, why did they do that? Was it because George W. Bush just wanted to have a war? I read Decision Points, his biography after, and I thought, after reading it, I thought, I might have made the same decisions he made with the information that he had. We thought that they had something that they didn't have, but we didn't understand that Saddam was talking at us to talk at his neighbors to act like he was tough, and he got called on it. His cards were called, and he was invaded. We didn't understand, but he was saber rattling. So we don't know what they have or don't have exactly.
So
I mean, you and I don't. Maybe
Iranian
they do
state
in Washington.
television right now, their actual quote is, a surprise is being prepared tonight that will leave a mark on history forever. So let them saber rattle. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and
You
so
also-
that's the mistake that Stom made.
You also mentioned Pakistan. Pakistan, over the last couple of days, has said, if it goes aggressive in Iran, we will stand for Iran. I mean, this could spiral quickly.
Yeah,
If-
well, so most Islamic nations tend to, when one Islamic nation's at odds with Israel, tend to back the other Islamic nations. That's a very common thing. But in and of itself, Pakistan doesn't do anything. And you also have to remember that Iran is not well liked by most of the other Islamic nations because of the Sunni Shia divide, and they're
Yes.
Shia, and so is much of Iraq, believe it or not, even though Saddam Hussein led it and fought with them. But it's Iraq is majority, I believe, or a good chunk of it is Shia. Lebanon is Shia, or the forces, the Hezbollah forces there, and so are the Yemeni rebels. So, I mean, these are the guys that are that you really want to keep your eyes on compared to others.
I was getting a note.
Am I boring you?
No, I was getting alert, and I saw Trump's picture. I thought he was speaking live. I wanted to confirm it. Man, I've got 5 computer screens and a watch trying to keep updated with this.
Yeah.
We do have to remember Pakistan is a nuclear nation, so we'll just leave it there. Okay, now let's go to the next tweet. And you guys that are watching, thank you. Thank you for being here on my channel and Profs. We appreciate it. Thank you for the like, and we're going through it logically. And you guys may not have seen the Zhirinovsky prophecy, but I'm going to show it to you again.
That was good stuff.
I'm going to show it to you again in just a few minutes. But let's finish Donald Trump's statements earlier when he was tweeting. I've got it here. This one was at noon. This one is at 12:20. He stated, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out. In parentheses, kill, exclamation point, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter." And I will only add to this before you respond. Multiple reports now that Iran is threatening American bases in the Middle East, American ships, and we're going to get to that in a minute. I've got all that prepped, but
that's a really dangerous policy I mean, like, if you're trying to keep the Americans from weighing in, that's the very worst thing that the Ayatollah can do, because that's just not going to be a winning formula.
Agreed. It's a pretty threatening statement, though.
No, oh, sure it is. Absolutely it is.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not talking about his statement. I'm talking about the shooting at civilians.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying in general.
Shooting at the American soldiers.
Pretty threatening statement here. Bold. So
Iran's in the worst place possible. They haven't gotten to the nuclear weapon yet, and that's what they're trying to do. And you couple that with, they have pretty bad friends. Well, look at that. Pretty bad friends. Like who's going to back their play? Russia's not backing their play. Russia, we just made this. Oh, by the way, Iran just formalized that agreement.
Keep your fingers down.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Iran just formalized that agreement that Russia and Iran made not too long ago. They just rammed that through real quick. But Russia's not going to be coming to their aid. Russia's got to be looking at, like, Syria, like, okay, what happens next? Who am I going to make the alliance with after this? And so it's going to be bad. So they don't have the nuke. They don't have the friends. They don't have the proxies that are able to help them in as meaningful ways as before. So they're kind of backed into a corner.
4:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. United States officials confirming that Iran has threatened to mine the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, that's
if
a bad
Washington
idea.
joins in the attacks. And guys, this is what we're talking about here. So Iran,
Okay.
Kuwait, yeah.
So that helps Putin in a significant way because
Big
the
time.
oil flowing out of the Persian Gulf won't flow out, and that's going to spike the price of oil. I don't think that they're gonna stand for that. I don't think they're going to allow that.
So also, guys, we're going to talk about this in another moment, but Bahrain, and multiple locations along these coasts, American naval bases are where we have ships, and they have all been put to sea. They are out of dock. They're all active away from those ports, and that's been, I mean, they're most out, but the ones that were still there, the United States put out to sea within the last 12 hours. So they getting them all out. All right. So that's just
Putting
coming
them out
in
to
right
sea,
now.
by the way, if you don't understand, makes them safer. They are in greatest danger when they're in port. When they're out at sea, they're in the greatest ability to be able to do whatever they're designed to do. So, for whatever that's worth.
All right, let's go back now to this, and we'll keep going because listen, some of this stuff coming up that we're going to share is you're going to get the whole picture here. 1222, he then followed up with the unconditional surrender statement. So all of that's within the last 4.5 hours. So that brings us to where we're at, and I think we've covered that well. Clash reporting now we have indications the United States will strike imminently. Now, I want to share, this is what came out at 1:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Iran's chief of the general staff, Mousavi. He says all operations that were conducted against Israel were a deterrence warning to Israel. Punitive operations will come very soon. Major General Abdullah Rahim Mousavi says, then he stated, leave Haifa and leave Tel Aviv immediately. So same statement when, President Trump said leave Tehran. So he's throwing it back. But I have him on video here. Let's go here. Here you go. This is this guy speaking.
In the name of Allah, the merciful, we honor the souls of the martyrs. The Zionist regime attacked Iranian civilians, including women, children, and the elderly, under the guise of military targets. They continued to kill journalists in Gaza and Lebanon and brutally attacked Iranian media to silence the truth, disregarding international laws. The great Iranian nation, as history shows, has never surrendered to any aggression. They will stand firm against this barbaric act and punish the Zionist regime for its crimes, God willing. The martyrdom of our citizens will strengthen our resolve to execute retribution. So far, our forces have struck heavy blows to the enemy's vital targets. However, these operations were just warnings. Punitive actions will follow soon. We strongly warn residents of occupied territories, especially Tel Aviv and Haifa, leave these areas to save your lives. Don't be victims of Netanyahu's cruel ambitions. The free people of the world should be assured the great Iranian nation, led by its armed forces, will avenge the martyrs' blood, God willing, by his power.
So there you have it. That was his statement, Prof, at 1:01 p.m. So I want to confirm, the information we share, this is what they're saying.
Yeah. What you're saying only matters if you can back it up.
That's true.
And I know that they can lob a bunch of missiles at Israel, but I don't know that they have anything better than that. And I don't know that they have been able to get to the point where they've been able to enrich the uranium. Like, they've been able to enrich it pretty well. Like, I understand that they have some that's enriched heavily, and I don't want to get out of my depth. But the further you go, as I understand from something I read in Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, was that the like enriching it to 60% is harder than enriching it from 60 to the 90% that you need for a nuclear bomb. And they're working, they've completed like the first phase, and I don't know how much more, but I don't think they're there yet. And if they don't actually have it, it's all just tough talk. Do you remember during
listen, talking about tough talk, I think you would like this. Mossad, this is their official tweeters. Iran says they hit the Mossad building in a missile strike. Luckily, nobody was there. They are all in Iran. So it's, I mean, I hate to laugh, but this is what you're talking about. Iran throws these threats. Israel will answer, and they answered here with some humor. Nobody was there.
Yeah. So I don't know what. So we're only talking about what's open source, right? We neither of us have any inside baseball as far as this goes. We're paying as close attention to the news as possible and try to interpret. But
no,
it
the only
looks like
close source I have is my buddy in Israel, and I'm following everything he says right now.
we don't know that they have a nuclear weapon. I don't think they have, but it's enough that Trump seems really concerned about it and is willing to allow Netanyahu to just go nuts and take that out. And notice he's not calling for peace like he is in Ukraine.
Correct.
Like the rhetoric's all different about what's going on with Israel right now. I mean, I wish that he would be supporting Ukraine, right? But he's not saying the kinds of things about, hey, we just need to, both sides just need to come to, he's not doing anything like that. He's deeply concerned about whatever whatever Iran may be close to getting. And you can see that here.
Well, I can tell you, Israel and the United States and what is unfolding there, Ukraine is watching very closely. And what you just
I'm
stated,
sure they
are. They're Zelensky, today, we wish we would have this kind of support a little bit, just a little bit.
So, and part of this is explanatory in that I saw Mike Pompeo talk about how what's going on with Israel is in our core interest. I just wish that they would see that core interest with stopping Russia from doing what it's doing, violating international law and destroying the lives of Ukrainians. I just see that I wish that they would see that the same way. But that's why they're acting differently here. And anyway, let's keep
do
going.
this. Let's keep going. Officials. I can tell you that here at 3:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an hour and 20 minutes ago, this was not from that guy. He was at 1. General Staff once again repeated and put up their advertisements, their flyers here. Israel needs to evacuate Haifa and Tel Aviv immediately. But this time they said a real war will begin soon. So, or will soon begin. It just continues on and on. 3:40 p.m., Trump sent a message, or a message came out, and now it's been confirmed. But I put the information in at 3:40, basically an hour and 20 minutes ago, that Trump had refused to send officials to meet with Iran in the attempt to reach an agreement because we had heard that he was going to send Witkoff and J.D. Vance. And this was first reported by CNN and a couple other outlets in the United States, but now it's being confirmed more and more. The Security Council meeting is over, or his inner circle there. National Security meeting is over. We're waiting to hear from Trump or get a message on anywhere to see, but there's no meeting going to happen as of right now.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things here is that Iran was just, you remember that term, tapping us along? Well, that's what they were doing. Every time I talked about Iran in the last month, it was just the news articles, if they were done well, would always talk about how, yeah, and they're just going to go to the next meeting and to the next meeting and to the next meeting. They like their whole scam here was delay, 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 delay. Whoa, we got a nuke like that. That's what they were going for, I think. And they just didn't get to it.
I'm trying to watch everything. It's impossible, but I do see a question actually on your chat. I've got them all open, where a person was making the comment about the ships that were on fire over there in the Gulf. And they say they bumped into each other, and they're part of the Russian Shadow Fleet. At least one of them was. But to be honest, we have no confirmation. But just throw it in there because their ship's burning over there as well. And it's very suspect, so no conspiracy theory, but a lot of things going on that we need to pay attention to. Now, I want to go, let's do this. Let's go to Let's go to Zhirinovsky now. You guys want to hear
Before you,
Zhirinovsky?
while you load that up, let me say something. A viewer said, "You're being lied to." Tulsi said that Iran wasn't any closer to building nukes than they were 10 years ago. She said this before Congress just 60 days ago. Okay, that and $5 will buy you a cup of coffee. I mean, like,
Okay.
uh,
So we're not supposed to prognosticate or predict, but there is a fracture in the relationship between Donald Trump and Tulsi Gabbard. She wasn't
well,
invited to the last meeting. Yeah,
there's big fractures in MAGA and conservative land right now.
huge.
Yeah.
She may be gone next week. I mean, I don't
But
know.
we don't know what'll happen, but she's not happy. Neither is Tucker Carlson, and like Trump called Tucker out yesterday
Oh, they're
by
done.
name.
They're done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you see, it's what's happening. But we got a huge crowd here now. Thank you guys for being here. Between both channels, like 7,000 people watching right now, and we're very grateful for all of you. And thank you. But if you did not see the Zhirinovsky prophecy, and I'm calling it a prophecy because he smoked it, and today we need to hear it again. And you're going, who's Zhirinovsky? He's one of Putin's key allies. He is dead now. Okay. But
So cue that up. While you
ready.
cue that up, oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
2000,
I was just going to tell them.
Go ahead.
I was just going to tell them that if you're on my channel, go over and see at Greg Terry Experience so that you can see him ongoing from this point forward and vice versa.
And if you're on my channel,
I'm at Professor Gerdes Explains, as one word, Professor Gerdes Explains, Gerdes, and he is at Greg Terry Experience. So just bookmark that or subscribe or whatever, and so that you can hear the other of us, whichever channel you're coming from.
Larry Smith, thank you for that. He's saying ships are burning, that GPS was spoofed. Oh, I believe that. Very possible. So thank you for that. It's a possibility, and I'm seeing others say that. So thank you. I've been in a lot of spoofing on the front in Ukraine. I know exactly how you can mess up in a New York minute. So let's go back. Zhirinovsky, 2019. Just listen to this. How will the conflict start? Israel will carry out a strike on those facilities where their intelligence believes there are uranium enrichment facilities, and possibly there are sites believed to be producing nuclear warheads. Iran possesses missiles with ranges of up to 2,000 kilometers. Well, 200 kilometers is plenty after the strike. Iran will definitely respond. There will be some minor damage in Israel, and then the big brother will come to the rescue. The United States will mobilize NATO and itself, and off they go, bombing Iran, including the use of extremely deadly tactical weapons, yet it provides full territorial protection. Even one localized nuclear strike would be enough to obliterate the entire country. So
He wasn't wrong as far as we are so far. Like,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm not pumping
I don't want
him
to see
up.
the rest of it play out, but
Just listening. Definitely worth listening to. And not that I ever want to listen to a Russian or Zhirinovsky, but that statement so far pretty spot on. Now, let's go to modern day. This happened at noon Eastern Standard Time. Matters. This was his statement. If Tehran does not back down, the complete destruction of Iran's nuclear program will be on the agenda, says German Chancellor Merz. He added that Tel Aviv cannot do this alone, and the United States will have to be involved. And then he made a quote, Israel is doing the dirty work for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I don't know that Israel can't do it alone. I think Israel can. It would just be more costly for them than using one of our big bombs. But they'll do it. And even if Tehran does back down, I think Israel's going to do it because this is an existential threat to them, and they are going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So until that is neutralized, I have very little doubt about it.
I completely agree with you. Okay, this is okay. I'm just with here. So I'm following this for updates, and 14 minutes ago, when we've got the whole world focused on what is happening, he has tweeted, FBI asks spy agencies to destroy intel on alleged China plot to aid Joe Biden in 2020 election.
This guy's all over the map, isn't he?
I mean, explain it to me. How can you go from unconditional ceasefire, we know where the supreme leader is, to now
Well, that was
2020 election?
no. I'm looking at Truth Social too right now, and he was talking about the same thing just before those 3 tweets. So we have those 3, 5, 4, and 4 hours ago, and then
Yes.
on either side, they're bookmarked by FBI, U.S. Congress, intel on alleged Chinese plot to So I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Here's
it's
what
marketing. Maybe it's marketing genius in order to get that message out.
I can't put the word genius and Trump in the same statement. I'm sorry.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
Is
do
he just-
understand.
yeah.
I think he's an
Okay.
idiot. Now, and I know that you are not a Trumper, but I'm just saying I just can't put those
No,
words in the same
I'm not a
phrase.
Trumper. I think
know
the
you're
only
not.
thing that his primary business ability is marketing.
Agreed.
It's not creating something.
Agreed.
It's marketing and making it look like something. So
Agree completely. You know what that gets?
Slava Ukraini.
Sorry, but we had to think about Ukraine a little bit. Now,
did you look at Huckabee's post?
his prayer,
Yeah,
yes, that he had sent
Yeah.
a text message to Donald Trump.
yeah.
Yes. Talk about. I didn't make a slide about
I
it.
just want to know if you were going to comment on that or
No, let's go
or
there.
what?
Mike Huckabee is the
Just scroll down. Just scroll down on the Truth Social and you'll see
okay.
it.
I'll go
Scroll
get
down
that.
about five Truth Social posts and you'll see the thing. I talked about it in my earlier video today.
Okay, I'm going to read it. So
Yep.
in case you
You
guys
can pull
do
it up
not
on the
know,
screen. You'll be able to see it.
I will. Mike Huckabee is the former governor of Arkansas, presidential candidate, and now the ambassador to Israel. And for me, I've already read this, but I think this is a green light for President Trump to send in the troops.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Okay, so here we go. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, Pennsylvania, to be the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. The decisions on your shoulders I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir, but there is only one voice that matters, his voice. That's a reference to Christianity. I am your appointed servant in this land and am available for you, but I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts. No president
Okay,
in
there's
my
some sucking up here.
let me
There's
tell
some
you
sucking
something.
up here and
Excuse me.
that sort of thing.
Yes, I need to go puke. Let me go puke because
But this was telling me how the level of seriousness, of enormity, that of how Trump and his advisors are thinking about what's going on in Iran. So that's how
Okay.
I'm looking.
we're seeing
why
this
I'm looking at
completely
it
the
and
same.
thinking
We
it's
can
important.
look through the sucking up. Look through the sucking up. Listen to the message. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours. Not since Truman in 1945, and we all know what that led to. Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
And for those who don't, like
Hiroshima and
yeah,
Nagasaki. Yes.
Right.
I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and to make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you, Mike Huckabee. I'll give
So
my opinion.
that
That's a
tells
green
me-
line. That's a green light from his eyes there in Israel. Let the troops go. Let the planes fly.
Yeah,
for me.
that tells me the enormity of what is actually transpiring right now and how how serious this could be.
Yes. And I'm looking over at the chat because they're going, I don't know what voices Trump's listening. They're enjoying it. But like look through all of that, guys. Get to the message there. That's a green light from the ambassador to Israel. No question. All right, let's go to the next guy. So you usually see Macron and Merz kind of on the same planet with Ukraine. But
not on Israel.
On Israel, we are complete opposites. Merz wants the United States to go in and finish it. Macron, 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, stated there has apparently been a change in Trump's position on Iran since yesterday. We need the United States to bring everyone back around the table. Regime change in Iran will mean chaos. I've got that actually, I think. Here. One,
Yeah.
2, 3.
So somebody in my comments, Cheryl Waitley, was saying, no, not troops. I don't think there's any discussion of troops. I think we're talking about bombs. Remember, they're hitting each other's countries across other people's countries. So you have Israel on one side, you have Iran on the other, and in between you have Syria, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia, and they have to cross. So tanks are worthless here, and I don't think it's a troops kind of thing so much as just bombing the other side into oblivion.
It's
And
new warfare,
who has
guys.
the greater capacity
It's
to
new
bomb?
warfare.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Ukraine we're seeing drone warfare. It's changed the battlefield. Same kind of thing here, where this kind of warfare doesn't really involve troops so much as it involves a lot of Air Force kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, listen, it does include drones. Those drones are what tore up Iran.
I understand.
Yeah, and the Shaheeds are what
I'm saying we're not talking Vietnam, Iraq.
No, we're not talking trench
each
warfare.
war has its own way of going. Like in Iraq and Afghanistan, the American troops were hurt most by IEDs more than anything else. It was like a heavy rate, like 80%. That's the 80% figure is the same in Ukraine, except it's because of drones. So drones do most of the damage.
Yes. Let's listen to Macron.
Vigilant about Israel's security. We support Israel's right to self-defense, but as a democracy, we stand with it against terror groups. However, we never endorse actions that destabilize the region. That's why, since October 2023, France has called for a Gaza ceasefire. That's why I said, we don't want Iran to have nukes or ballistic capabilities, but I think seeking military regime change in Iran is the biggest mistake today.
So that's the opposite of what we hear from Merz. It's definitely the opposite of what we heard from Trump, because we know where your house is, Khomeini. It's the opposite of what we hear from Israel.
I don't know. I think the destabilization has been happening from Iran for the last however many years, and on the other side of this, I don't know even if the Ayatollah stays in power, you might still have a more stable place, and I'm not sure that he will still be there. You could have a very different Iran. Have you ever seen pictures of Iran before the
absolutely.
Ayatollah came in?
I want to go there. It's incredible.
It looked like, just
paradise,
an awesome Western place with palm trees. It was like, it looks so different. And yeah,
let's go here. Many people may be wondering, okay, we know that Iran sends Shaheeds to Russia, and we know that Iran and Russia have a major agreement just short of the military agreement that Russia has with North Korea, but it's economic, it's technology, it's nuclear. What I
gotta
mean
wonder
by
what
that
Putin's thinking about that, because I think he was disappointed when he couldn't get something out of Iran before.
Well,
and now
here's what we have. An official statement from Russian Foreign Ministry came out at 2:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Lavrov says, the current escalation of the Iranian-Israeli conflict creates risks of further destabilization of the situation in the entire region, and first of all, in the states bordering Israel and Iran. Second, the harsh and irreconcilable reaction of the majority of the countries in the world to the Israeli strikes on Iranian territory, including the nuclear energy infrastructure, indicate that the confrontational course and destructive actions of the Israeli leadership are understood and supported only by those states that are its actual accomplices and act for opportunistic reasons. And then third, and it's really wordy, but this is what the Russians do. Third, Russia notes the clear statements by the Iranian side about its continued commitment to its obligations under the NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and its readiness to resume contacts with the United States to develop possible solutions, and then provided that Israeli attacks cease. So that's the only official statement we have coming. Nothing from Putin, but this is the statement from the Russian Foreign Ministry.
He's masterful with his language, and he can boldface lie to you and make it sound true. Like that, the harsh and irreconcilable reaction of the majority of the countries in the world, and it's not been quite like that. I think a lot of countries are going like, they did kind of have those nukes, or we're working on them, and so it's not working out like he's saying it worked out. Of course, there's always the hardliners, particularly authoritarian hardliners that line up with Russia that are seeing it that way. And the West is pretty much seeing it the other way. But I don't think that that's a majority position throughout the world.
Iranians are gathering in Palestine Square in Tehran right now. This is not against the regime. This is for the regime. So just showing.
I wonder how many were rounded up to have to be there.
Well, to me it looks maybe 1,000 people, because they pan around again.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm saying I wonder how authentic
maybe a couple
it is,
thousand,
because I know that there is a very strong undercurrent in Iran against the current regime, particularly because of all the things they've been cracking down on within the last year or two. So, yeah.
Let's go to here then. You lead me right into, and we're still waiting any updates, and I'll check again, but you remember the Shah of Iran?
Sure.
Okay. So this is his son, Reza Pahlavi. Today at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that is less than 4 hours ago, he made a statement. I have it. We got it in English for you. He is the Israeli-backed Iranian opposition, the son of the last Shah. The Islamic Republic has come to an end and is falling. What has begun is irreversible. The future is bright, and together we will navigate this sharp turn into history. Now is the time to stand. It's time to take back Iran. May I be with you soon. And I have him speaking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clip 5. Here you go.
My fellow Iranians, the Islamic Republic is ending and falling. Khamenei, like a scared mouse, hides underground, losing control. What started cannot be reversed. The future's bright. We'll navigate this historical turn together. I feel for all defenseless citizens harmed by Khamenei's delusions. For years I tried to keep our nation out of war's fire. The Islamic Republic's end marks the end of its 46-year war with Iran. The regime's oppressive machine is crumbling. One public uprising can end this nightmare for good. Now is the time to take a stand. It's time to reclaim Iran. Let's unite from Bandar Abbas to Anzali, Shiraz to Isfahan, nationwide. Let's bring about this regime's end. Don't fear the post-Islamic Republic future. Iran won't fall into civil war or instability. We have plans for Iran's future prosperity. We're prepared for the first 100 days after the regime's fall. Addressing military, police, and security forces messaging me. Don't oppose the nation to save a doomed regime. Don't sacrifice yourself for a corrupt system. Stand with the people and save yourselves. Help transition from the Islamic Republic to a new Iran. A free and prosperous Iran awaits us. I hope to be with you soon. Long live Iran. Long live the Iranian people.
There you have it.
Yeah, I think so Netanyahu was calling for like rise up and throw off the Ayatollah. I think that fell on deaf ears. With this guy, however, this might actually he might actually be able to make some kind of inroads because he's one of them. So
Well, for sure,
and
there's been stuff going on.
and there is just a really palpable um, antagonism that has been felt for the last 2 years. So again, which color for the color revolution? This could be a thing. I'm not saying it will be. I'm not in the prediction game, but I'd be very nervous about this sort of thing if I was the Ayatollah.
8 minutes ago, the United States Department of Defense just put troops on high alert in the United Arab Emirates, in the nation of Jordan,
Wow.
and in Saudi Arabia. And once again, waiting on Trump's imminent message to the world. This is what they're saying.
Wow.
Yeah, to the world. Decisive hours and days are coming for the Middle East. The region is standing on the threshold of great events. That's where we're at. And I'm watching it, waiting. Let's go here. Zelensky today went to the
Before
go.
you do that, there are people here that were not here when we started. So let's give the quickest recap that we can of what has happened so far
It would help
from last
me.
night into today.
It would help me if you could do the bulk of that, and I'll catch up on the feeds.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and do that, and so I'll start talking. So,
You talk away.
if you weren't here in the very beginning, what we know is that last night there was a big kerfuffle of some sort. President Trump left the G7, and when he left the G7 meeting, it was so that he could go back to Washington, and he was tweeting about it like something is about to go down with Iran, and he was saying that he was going to meet with his Security Council, and he was going to be doing all these kinds of things, like something was about to happen. Okay, fast forward to today, and he puts out a couple of tweets like unconditional surrender in Iran, and you got to get out of. Last night was get out of Tehran. Like if the president of the United States is telling another country get out of your capital, and there are people streaming out. Okay, so that was happening. Then today was more messages like this and more saber rattling from President Trump. And it looks like they were saber rattling back, but the threat seems pretty imminent for if something is about to happen, whether it is Israel's going to do something with American weapons, or America's going to be involved, or something we just don't know yet. But it's changed in the last 24 hours. It's significantly changed, and that's why we're talking about it now. Okay, Greg, what you got?
I'm coming back to you.
That's the quickest I could go.
No, you did fantastic on that. I can. Let's go to Zelensky, because I can tell you also that there is not, as of right now, 523 consensus in Trump's inner circle on the decision, but it's going to come down to him. He will make the decision. That's the way it is. Additionally, I can tell you that United States and Israel are reporting their frustrations with Russia sharing intelligence with Iran. So we already knew that, but now they're talking about it.
Now, this is worth talking about in a significant way, because Russia is going to lose a lot if Iran's taken down a peg. Like I recognize that different people have different feelings about whether we should support Israel or not support Israel. But look, what Israel's doing to Iran is hurting Russia, because Russia gets a lot of morale and super support in technology and other things from Iran. I mean, they're buying it from them, but it is a power that is supporting them. So if bad things happen to Iran collapses, the Shah's regime, or I was reading comments about Shah.
Yeah.
The Ayatollah's regime falls apart, that sort of thing. This is actually a really positive thing for Ukraine because it hurts Russia's ally, which is Iran, which now remember, after Syria, Iran was like the next place where they could really look to for support in the Middle East. And Russia's trying to project its force throughout the world, including down into Africa. And there's not a lot of other places they can go, really. Like Libya wasn't really all that keen on them there. And so Iran was still kind of friendly, and so they shifted from Syria to Iran. Syria is now out of Russia's orbit completely, right? I mean, like, it's more in Saudi Arabia's orbit and even to some degree Israel's orbit than in Russia's. So Russia has been taken down a peg, and this is a good thing. Like, if you support Ukraine, this is a really, really good thing to see that happen to Russia and to see them denigrated significantly in their ability to project force. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was some good
No,
context
that
needed
was
to be.
good, and I agree with you. Maybe that's why Shoigu a week ago was sent to North Korea to put into place a new factory for the production of shaheeds there in North Korea. Additionally, like we talked about earlier, if this thing breaks out into a bigger war, regardless if the strait is blocked or not, oil's going up.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate side effect.
So
By the
you-
way, do you think Kim's nervous watching what's going on?
No, not at all. He's a lunatic. No, I don't think Kim's nervous. I don't think Xi Jinping's nervous. I don't think Vladimir Putin's nervous. They're all lunatics, guys.
Well, no,
Absolute lunatics.
I what I mean by that is Russia's not going to be helping the Ayatollah at all, and they're supposed to be, pretty thick.
But they do
And
not have a military agreement.
I know they don't, but they're not. He's not going to help them. And I would think if I was Kim, I'd be like, I know we have this agreement on paper, but paper didn't seem to mean a lot to Putin in the past. So,
Agreed. Putin will lie to you. All he does is lie. But I think North Korea is in a better position for partnering with Russia than Iran down there in the Middle East, surrounded by Americans.
yeah,
So
okay.
you've got North Korea, you got China, and you've got Russia geographically. And now South Korea and their new president warming up to Kim Jong-un and going away from U.S. So I think he's not even in the
I don't
picture
know.
right now.
I just don't think. I think if you're putting depending on Putin as an ally, this just seems like a bad plan.
Well, for sure, he's bad plan to be as an ally, regardless, and that's why he needs to be defeated in Ukraine. He's evil. Let's go here. Speaking of Ukraine, this is what Zelensky said at 2:35 Eastern Standard Time when he was at the G7. He said, this is the only thing he referenced about Iran. He said, one should also take into account the cooperation between Russia and Iran on the one hand, and Russia and North Korea on the other. Russia is upgrading Iran's shaheeds and outsourcing their production of improved models to North Korea. This is a threat not only to Ukraine, but other places as well. So kind of in that same thought line we were just talking about, this is the only references Zelensky made today in regard to Iran. Everything else was about the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bad wherever it's coming from. Yesterday, I was talking about the Shaheeds that were hit in Iran or the Shahed factory or whatever, and I referenced Jason J. Smart. His YouTube channel, if you haven't seen it, is over 100,000 now. Like, it went up in like 5 days. But I mean, he had other social media that was causing that and that sort of thing. I'm glad his voice is out there on YouTube. We need everybody that we can that's pushing these kind of context and narrative and whatever else. So I reference him because he was was it him that was talking about this, that like the Shaheeds that were being built there? I'm trying to remember if it was that or reporting from Ukraine. One of them, the Shaheeds in Iran being destroyed were important, or the factories there, because Russia owned, I think it was Jason J. Smart, the Russia only assembles. They don't build their own. Like, they don't start it from the ground up. They just assemble the component parts at Yelabuga, the primary factory.
Mhm.
So they are dependent still on these external countries for the pieces. So that could retard some of their building of these drones as well. So that's important.
Okay, so I've got some breaking news for you, and
Go ahead.
I think we know now why Trump's not saying anything yet.
Okay.
Benjamin Netanyahu has been in a secret meeting for 2 hours. It just ended. Donald Trump
Okay.
is currently on the phone with Benjamin Netanyahu. So the
Okay.
Americans with Trump were in the meeting, the war room meeting. Benjamin Netanyahu had his guys in the war room meeting there in Israel. Trump's meeting ended before Netanyahu's. Netanyahu's just ended, and I saw that just the last couple minutes ago. And now Donald Trump is currently holding talks with Benjamin Netanyahu. Here's what I think is going to happen. No, I'm not even going to say it.
Say it as just sheer speculation, not prediction. It's a fool's error to try to predict this kind of thing.
I think there will be one more warning, 48 hours.
Okay. I mean,
I could be dead wrong.
they're far more aligned than anything you see with Trump and Ukraine and that sort of thing.
If you're wondering how many troops the United States has in the region around Iran in total, it's 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it's hitting everywhere now, dinging Trump to give urgent speech soon. Finishing up chat with Netanyahu.
No doubt about it.
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I think we're really close to something popping off. I mean, I put this video out last Thursday, just before I went to class, and said, okay, within 72 hours, something's going to hit. An hour later, that's when it started. So I got that same feeling again. It's not like just that I'm channeling something. It's just from the news. There are signs everywhere. So
they keep pushing this message, and this time they switched it to English. Urgent. A night the world will not forget. Stay tuned. Iranian TV.
Are they able to broadcast?
Yeah, they're still broadcasting.
Oh, I'm only kidding.
So let's do this, guys. Let's continue with this one. What is your thoughts on this? First of all, still no video from Trump. If you keep your eye on Truth Social, that'd be great. And I'll do this. Donald Trump tweeted 2013, I predict that President Obama will at some point attack Iran in order to save face. Trump in 2011, our president will start a war with Iran because he absolutely has no ability to negotiate. He is weak and ineffective. 2012, don't let Obama play the Iran card to start a war and get reelected. Be careful, Republicans. Again in 2012, now that Obama's approval ratings are in free fall, expect him to strike Libya or Iran. He's desperate. 2013, I predict that President Obama will at some point attack Iran to save face. I call it ironic, and I can play you this.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
Okay. All of those statements. Now, I know that's 12 years ago, 10 years ago, when a different world, different technology, but.
Notice that he didn't say we're going to start a war with Albania or Chile or Thailand. Everything was about Iran because Iran's a bad guy. I mean, they are a bad actor in the world. Notice that everybody, just in the same way, everybody in Europe is putting up defenses against Russia because Russia is like, nobody's worried about Finland invading them. I mean, maybe, a few centuries ago when the Vikings were running around, they would have been, but nobody's worried about that. Nobody's worried about Estonia coming after them or France. Like, nobody's worried about that. We're worried about bad actors, and Russia's a bad actor. Iran's a bad actor. It's just like, even if you don't like Israel, Iran's a bad actor. I gave the example the other day, and so some people were on the Gaza side of the Israel-Gaza, the October 7th, and hey, Israel's bad because they've done this to Gaza. Okay, let's say if Gaza was attacking Iran, you should still be anti-Iran, right? Like if the war is not obviously between Gaza and Iran, but if it was, you should still be anti-Iran. They are supporting Russia, who are doing devastating things to victimize Ukraine. Like, Iran's just a bad actor in the region. And okay, anyway,
So let's go here. What we're expecting.
Yep.
What we're expecting.
Yeah.
All right. And I can tell you we're still getting the same messages from the one guy I trust. It's imminent. Donald Trump going to speak about this. And now they're even saying, looks like Trump may join. Breaking news right now, 5:35 p.m. And I was getting ready to play the video. I got a video in, but I couldn't voice it over, but it's got English subtitles, where a military guy in Iran just stated minutes ago, we are sending an attack to Israel, but I didn't have no way to confirm it. Now it's being confirmed multiple places, even the guy I trust. Iran launches missiles toward Israel. So brand new launches right now, 1 minute ago. In fact, now I can confirm it for you right here. This is the current. Red means just like Ukraine. This is where the air sirens are going off. A majority of Israel, but definitely covering Tel Aviv and Haifa. But due to the detection of missiles launched toward Israel, there it is. So all of that's confirmed.
Well, yeah, Israel knew what they was getting into when it started this. Like, they knew that they were going to get punished for it as well, but the cost of not doing it was worse than the cost of doing it in their calculations, and they had to act before. Like, okay, so think about what happens if Iran gets a nuclear weapon.
Mm-hmm.
They just begin to bully everyone in their region because they have the nuclear weapon, and like whoever they want to take this out on. And remember, Islam is not monolithic. Like, Christianity is not monolithic. Atheists are not monolithic. So Iran has enemies. Iran and Saudi Arabia don't get along. So you can only imagine, like, the Saudis are helping shoot down these missiles. I mean, that's where we are in the world. So,
well, take a peek here. Take a peek here, and this was. I mean, I got the still image off of Fox. I don't watch Fox. I don't watch any of that stuff, but I got the image from Fox here, not that one, this one. This is what's happening. This is how many resources the United States is pushing in around. And this image I got just a couple of hours ago. Also, the U.S. created this afternoon, early afternoon, and yes, I can't spell properly. It's not a FORF, it's a force for Middle East assistance. And that task force is not on the military side, but it's on the American citizen side. If you are in Israel, you may be there on a tour, and you guys may be asking, people are still on tours in Israel? Yes, one of my friends is a tour guide, and they just had to send all of their tour people to Jordan for safety. So there is a whole American tour group now in Jordan trying to get back to the United States right now. So the United States this afternoon created a task force for assisting Americans in getting out of there, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, and that's one of the signs that you know that something's about to pop off, when you start to see the State Department warnings, like not safe for Americans to be here, or, be shelter, or what, those kind of things. That's a really big red flag that something is about to pop, and it's sure enough, it did last Thursday.
So all Israelis are now just another confirmation. Want to keep confirming everything. It's all red right now. 5:39 p.m. Eastern, 12:39 a.m. in Israel, 1:09 a.m. in Tehran. All right, let's go to the next one. And okay, I have to put a precursor out on this, a warning. I know who Scott Ritter is. I know what he has done in the past. I know all of that. I don't follow Scott Ritter. Never.
I do. I want to see what kind of nonsense he's saying.
Okay. But today, just hours ago, he made this crazy statement. Let me play it. And the reason I'm playing it is because America and Israel immediately responded. So somebody's listening to his madness. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, he's got quite a following, believe it or not.
He does, a massive following.
It's really remarkable how many people listen to him. And like, how can you be like, he's worse than Weatherman. Like, how can you be this wrong all the time and people are still listening to you? He's wrong. Like every couple of weeks, he's like saying, and you know, Ukraine's done. Zelensky's gonna die. All kinds of crazy stuff. Every other week, you're saying like they got 2 weeks. It's almost like President Trump talking about it. Oh, just wait till the Russians use everything that they can. You know, 1,200 days later, we're still here. So it's really fascinating to see how wrong he can be, and people still listen to him regularly.
Well, here he is.
Doug McGregor's in that same boat.
Doug McGregor, exactly. Same. Perfect call. This is what he said, but then Israel and America actually responded to it. I mean, maybe not to him, but to the principle.
We're in an existential fight right now, the survival of Israel versus the survival of Iran. And as things stand, Israel will die before Iran dies if the current trajectory of conflict plays out. Iran has tens of thousands of missiles. They can fire like this against Israel for, weeks, if not months. We're just a few days into this conflict and Israel's already destroyed. Imagine what will be in 2 weeks. And Iran is ready to continue this thing as long as it needs to be. Israel's running out of interceptor missiles and the United States doesn't have any left to give. That means Israel will be defenseless. So we're looking at a trajectory right now, which if left unchanged, means Iran will achieve the strategic defeat of Israel. Israel has lost this war. Israel has lost this war. And, but the question is, can American military intervention save Israel? And I believe the answer is no. I don't think there's anything. The Iranians have been planning for this war for some time now.
So I have multiple.
Let me just show the statement that came out that was interesting after that podcast that was today. And this was the official statement. American and Israeli intelligence assesses that Israel could intercept missiles for 12 days without American support. So that's all they said. So they were addressing whether it's his narrative or other narratives floating around the world, but that's lunacy. That's lunacy. McGregor is a lunatic. They're all lunatics to think that Iran is winning the war, Israel is destroyed in shambles, and America can't even save. Come on.
Well, he said that Israel was already destroyed. Israel, it's got a black eye here, no doubt, right? I mean, they weren't not getting hit. There weren't like Iron Dome wasn't saving everything. Okay, but the idea it's already lost. How many times has he said that about Ukraine? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, so like he's not a reliable witness. And then even if America intervenes, nothing's going to. No, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a massive escalation where whether it's American escalation, American intervention, or America allowing Israel to use certain weapons or whatever it is to hit the bully hard enough that the bully falls down rather than that it keeps coming for months on end. I don't see this going to be missiles flying across Jordan and Saudi Arabia and that sort of thing for months on end.
No, 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 no,
I think
no.
I think this will be over sooner than later, and it'll be because one side hits the other side hard enough that it goes, you know what? And that's we don't really want to do this anymore.
All right,
And I think
listen.
it'll be Israel doing that.
Listen. My guess, 6 weeks max, if that, and it will not be, yes, Israel, it will be Israel. It won't be Iran. Okay, unless they've got something that nobody in the world knows about. It's going to be Israel. But
go ahead.
But what they are wanting to do, and I need to pull this up on the map for everybody. They want to destroy the Fordow nuclear facility that's under the ground.
Right, that's correct.
Okay. The only way to do that without weeks and weeks of hitting it over and over and over is with the American technology of those big bunker busters and the ones they want to carry. And chat, correct me if I'm wrong, or Prof, maybe you know, but what I've seen is there's only one plane, one type of plane that can carry the type of bombs that need to be dropped. And only America's got that plane. Israel doesn't have that plane. Which means the U.S. has to do it.
So whether it's that plane or exactly what, the U.S. only has the weapons that are not the non-nuclear weapons that are able to do that. So that is my understanding as well. Now, apparently there are other ways of doing it, but some are more costly, like people on the ground doing some things that need to be done in order to take that out. But that's a more costly way of going in human lives.
That's what I thought it was.
So now the
Thank you, Johnny.
the last thing that I'd say here is this. It's very weird to me, to my mind, how authoritarians operate so very differently than democracies in this regard when it comes to war. Like, we think in terms in the United States, a healthy, robust economy, and then people's lives are better off, and then you use a fraction of that for military purposes to build your weapons storage so that if you have to get into a fight and you have this ready and you can do whatever. Okay. On the other side, Kim Jong-un and the mullahs and Putin and others are thinking, look, let me take first, right off the top, all this money out of my economy for missiles and other weapons. And then what's left is to make the economy kind of run maybe. And it just doesn't work out so well. They're kind of like, think about Kim, like how many people in North Korea are starving, but he has all these missiles. So I don't doubt that Iran has a bunch of missiles. I do doubt their effectiveness. I was reading an article was it yesterday or today? It's all running together about the graft and corruption within Iran. Right? Have you seen any of this? I mean, it's very similar to the kind of thing that goes down in Russia, as far as the corruption that has made their military less effective than you otherwise would have thought. And you would think someone like a Scott Ritter, from his training, would know that, but his ideology is really clouding the way that he sees things.
But when you're such a demented human being,
that's what I'm saying. His ideology is pro. Like, at what point do you become pro Russia, pro Iran, pro like North Korea? Like, something has gone. Like, you've got to be drinking Jackson Hinkle juice or something. Like, something's going wrong.
Point. But the question, and I'm watching the chat. That don't listen to anything Scott Ritter says. Completely agree, 1,000,000%. Don't worry, never. But
I listen to him, but I listen to him to hear why he's saying what he's saying. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't suggest listening to him like he's a credible.
He is not
witness,
credible.
But...
Okay, we have we've got strikes in Tel Aviv just hit.
Okay.
Is
that all we know so far? I mean, they're going to be hitting. I mean, we know that it's going to be wave after wave.
Here. Okay. The point is, they're shooting them. Is this what it's going to take to push Trump to say, go take them out? It's not like...
I think it's already... pushed Trump. I think Trump's already there, and they're just inking the final whatever.
and they know it.
I think it's a matter of, at this point, will he back off between now and the time where everything is released to go support
Ooh.
Israel and however they're supporting them.
Okay, guys,
I could be wrong about that, but this is my perception.
all right. Let's do this, and I don't put audio on it, and that seems to help. And there's nothing here, guys. Don't worry. I would never show nothing that
hold
could
on.
get us in trouble. I promise you.
One of my comments said, I mean, Scott was right about weapons of mass WMDs in Iraq. Part of that was that he's counter whatever is going on, and the whole world, like the Brits thought they had him, the other Europeans thought that they had him. So it was not like America was just going alone on that. I mean, like everybody had egg on their face because they thought that was what was going on. So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let's go to this. This is Tel Aviv.
Yeah, that's something to watch, isn't it? Wow. I wonder how long it takes to get that missile across from Iran over, like you know, they have
minutes.
warning.
They just launched 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And they're there. I also have to tell you guys that we're seeing a little bit different right now because Jerusalem was just hit. Now, they have not really been slinging at Jerusalem at all or heavily. It's been Haifa and Tel Aviv, but we've got strikes now in Jerusalem. And I can show you that we have a direct hit in Tel Aviv. And this is okay to share.
Jerusalem seems a little extra protected. Like they don't want to hit the Dome of the Rock or, you know, I mean, like it's kind of Islamic, just like it's kind of Jewish, kind of Christian.
Yes. But I think it's a symbolic statement when they start slinging at Jerusalem.
Perhaps.
This is confirmation. I trust this source 1,000,000%, guys. This is a hit that just happened in Tel Aviv. This is Tel Aviv. Let's go back here, and I'll keep checking because a lot's happening right now. So what this tells me is Israel has been talking a lot, and the United States, maybe even more so, how many missile launchers that have been eliminated, and they have been. And they were saying that Iran doesn't have the ability anymore to sling more than a few missiles at a time, but I think now we're seeing they can still sling some missiles.
Yeah, but you know, so Iran, this is there's a parallel here with Ukraine, right? Ukraine has been targeting in the last few weeks, particularly lots of launchers of things or factories, logistics centers, those kind of things. Israel was using their military quite judiciously, quite economically to hit primary military targets. They're not just wantonly shooting at Iran and like wherever it falls, it falls. You know, they're all Iranians anyway. They weren't doing that, so they were going after like really significant launching kind of targets, or you know, missile launchers, or bombs, or arsenals, or whatever. And yeah, so it does seem like they disabled some of what Iran would be able to do. But that, again, Iran's trying to stockpile it because that's how authoritarian regimes like this operate.
I'll give you a couple of things. Ayatollah Khomeini just put out one statement. In the name of the noble Haider, the battle begins. Ali, with his Zulfikar, returns to Khyber. Allahu Akbar. And that's it. So,
okay, I don't understand that, but
I don't
mean,
either.
it's just like the return of the 13th Imam. I didn't understand what that meant until I looked it up. Copy and paste that and pop that in ChatGPT and ask if it knows what it's talking about.
All right.
So like when they talk about the return of the Imam, like what's his name? Ahmadinejad, the former president, used to talk about this all the time. And then look, when you
pause, which for 3 hours today, there was the news out that he had been assassinated with his own whole family on the streets of Tehran. All fake news.
That's not true.
All fake news.
So, but he used to talk about that all the time. And where we wait for the return of I think it's like 13th Imam or something like that. I don't remember what number it was, but they were talking. That's like that just is saying to this branch of Islam. That's like saying the return of Christ and the rapture. I mean that it's going to kick off the end times or that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I
Got
wonder
it.
what in that is giving us some kind of indication if you pop it into Chat
I've
GPT
got
and
it.
see what it's.
I've got it.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So once again, he just put out, and Christy Nome just taken to the hospital, Homeland Security. Breaking news
For
right
what?
now. I got so many screens, man. Christy Nome on the way to the
I
hospital.
know who she is. For what?
Unknown. On the way to the
Okay.
hospital. That's it.
Okay.
In the name of the noble Hyder, the battle begins. Ali with his Zulfiqar returns to Khaybar. Okay. The phrase refers to an event in Islamic history, draws on themes from Shia Islam, which is the branch, particularly regarding the figure of Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad. In the name of the noble Hyder, Hyder is a title used for Ali ibn Abi Talib, which means the lion or the brave. It is a reference to strength, courage, and valor. Noble Hyder is a way of honoring his status as a legendary warrior. The battle begins, signals the initiation of an upcoming significant battle or struggle, invoking the spirit and strength of Ali as a fighter. And then Ali with his Zulfiqar returns to Khaybar. This part references a key historical event. The Zulfiqar is the legendary sword of Ali, often depicted as a double-edged sword. The Battle of Khaybar was a crucial event in early Islamic history where Ali played a decisive role. Khaybar was a Jewish stronghold, and Ali's victory there became one of his most famous military achievements.
I mean,
there you go.
I figured the allusion would be to something that was very meaningful to them, even though I mean, it sounds like Zorkon the space god to me, but
Yeah.
that's because I don't have the context. But for them, it's probably really meaningful, and that sounds like
Okay, I'm seeing a statement coming out right now on multiple places. I've seen it in Israel, I've seen it in Ukraine, and I've seen it in Russia. Sorry, I don't trust Russia, but I'm just confirming different places I follow. Trump has made a statement, we must take responsibility for ridding the world of great evil.
Wow.
But I don't see anywhere he's speaking. So guys in the chat, if he said something or we're missing it, please let me know and I'll get it up on the screen for us.
It's not Truth Social, because I'm pulling that up right now. That's not what it is.
Okay. This is crazy. Okay. This is interesting. This is coming in from Russian state media. All right.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. There will be no statements following the National Security Council meeting, according to the White House. No statements are expected from the National Security Council officials about the meeting chaired by President Trump, direct from the White House. No confirmation of a conversation between Trump and Netanyahu, which has been confirmed even out of Israel. At the same time, following the council, the media expected Trump to make statements about the possible entry of the United States into the war against Iran. Netanyahu's meeting with ministers and heads of security services is still going on. And that is directly from Russian state media. It's crazy. Let me do this. Actually, let's do this.
So White House hasn't posted anything. I was just looking at that, and they haven't posted anything since the 14th, which was some days ago.
All right, so we're going to go. Russian state news was referencing Al Jazeera. Okay, that's what they were referencing. Now let's beat them at their own game, and we can go here. Al Jazeera breaking news. This is the running on Al Jazeera. I'll flip on the auto. Live Israel-Iran trade attacks. Trump claims control of the skies. 8 minutes ago, Iranian missile waves activates across Israel. We now know there have been strikes. 13 minutes ago, Israel under Netanyahu is the biggest threat to the region. Erdogan, Turkey. We haven't talked about Turkey at all. Israel launched another missile attack 20 minutes ago. So within 20 minutes, the missiles were there, 15 minutes. And then an analysis killing Iran's supreme leader would be unlawful. And then we'll leave it here. IAEA chief warns Israel attacks may encourage other countries to seek nukes. So this is what Russia cited, but there's nothing there stating that. I'm going to trust my guys in Israel way before any of this mess.
Yeah. So Al Jazeera is really good about news for Ukraine for some reason. I mean, they actually are pretty faithful about that sort of thing. It comes to anything about Israel, they side with all Islamic side of whoever is in that fight. So again, you need to understand that that's what they're going to project. Erdogan is going to also be with even Iran over Israel, even though there's family squabbles within Islam between the Sunni and the Shia. So
well, listen, you're fluent in Farsi, right?
I'm about as fluent in that as I am with the Slavic names.
Let's switch to English because I don't know it either. So this is the latest. In fact, I'll hit.
Now that, by the way, that's what I was usually referring to. I was saying this Farsi ways when I mispronounce things in Ukrainian. I was just, I'm just going back and forth.
So Iran reporting a new wave of missile attacks against the Zionist regime minutes ago. As this round of attacks began, alarms bells sounded in parts of the occupied territories. Hebrew sources report that missiles hit occupied Jerusalem and the south of occupied territories, which we can confirm. It is said tonight's attack will be one of the heaviest and most widespread in recent days. News is being completed, meaning they're continuing to update it, because I've been following this nonstop as well. Let's go back to that. Okay, there's some
so
stuff.
It looks like we're not going to actually see any statement coming out.
Are you seeing anything? Because
I'm not. I was just scrolling through a number of different sources, and I didn't see anything popping that we haven't already discussed. So when it does, we can talk again. But I don't know that Trump. We've already been in that.
Listen. Yeah, but listen. This is another image coming in from Israel on the recent attack 15 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. There's a lot of stuff in the air, man. This is coming down, not going up. Let's show it to everybody. Looking between two buildings.
Yeah, it's unreal.
It's significant. That was just one location, and we know I know they've hit in at least three. Yeah, Tel Aviv is hit very hard. Yeah, in fact, I can show you this right here. Now, unfortunately, we have to show the good with the bad, but this is actually Israeli air defense going off, and you can see the trail. It went up, rerouted, and came back down, and struck as well. So that is happening, and they're talking about, well, it's just how bad it is, and all. It's not the reality of it. There's so much, even how they're doing it there, Iran in Israel, to manipulate signal and GPS and spoofing. They're spoofing in Israel, and of course, Israel is spoofing in Iran. And in Ukraine, so many times I've experienced spoofing when missiles or drones are flying, or we're trying to use GPS during an air alarm, and everything just goes completely haywire. We can be in the middle of Kharkiv, and our GPS will show us we're in Moscow, or show us we're in Tehran. I mean, it's that bad. Now, maybe we're not hearing anything from Donald Trump right now because CBS reporting there's no consensus among Trump's closest advisors on how to approach Iran. But I still come back to where I assume ultimately the buck's going to stop with him. Isn't that true? How it
Sure.
works?
Yeah, absolutely.
And once
It's interesting that he's getting this much traction when he has surrounded himself with isolationists who don't want to actually be involved in anything and say it's not our issue.
this is
Right?
that's a better image there, catching it.
Wow.
A lot of stuff coming out of the air. So let me ask you a question about this, because a lot of people watching now didn't join at the beginning, or have come along during the live stream. So politically speaking, the United States, Donald Trump can order all of these attacks as the president, like mega attacks, without congressional permission.
Yeah. So the way it works is Congress is who has the constitutional right to declare war. However, we haven't actually declared war since 1942, and then beyond that, if you could do something for upwards of like 60 days before you have to report to Congress, who then would have the right to send troops back or whatever he's going to do. So Trump can do anything that he wants to right now within reason as far as acting. And the idea is that you want to give that kind of right to act swiftly when you need swift action, right? Because imagine Congress just getting around and arguing with each other about whatever it was. You don't want that. You want Congress to be a deliberative body, not an effective executive, which is what the presidency is supposed to be. Did you know
it was an allergic reaction? So just one.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay,
saw
allergic
that.
reaction. So we're good there.
Just a fun fact, during the Constitutional Convention, they actually toyed with the idea of an executive, that is a presidency made out of a committee of upwards of 7. Imagine what a train wreck that would have been. So cooler heads prevailed.
Okay, Israel confirming again that Netanyahu and Donald Trump have spoken within the last few minutes. And here is a live within the last couple of minutes picture of Tel Aviv. So I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing 5 sources of fire and heavy smoke. I'm looking at it a little closer on my computer there. So it's not just 3, I'm seeing 5. So it was hit hard.
So at this point, I'm somewhat skeptical that we're going to see a statement from Trump anytime real soon. Like, we thought it was imminent, and we put this out saying, okay, let's wait a little bit before we put something out, because while we have all this background information, something might just pop off, and we want to, be there when it does. Go ahead.
First source I trust. First source. I don't trust anything from Russia. First source I trust. One of my Ukrainian sources just stated no statements expected from Trump after the National Security Council meeting. Now, let me do some looking on that. You do some looking on that, because what we were intended to, as you said, what we intended to do was to bring people up to date. Because
we certainly did that. I mean, we gave them all the background that they needed to understand what was happening and why it was happening, why Trump's saying these crazy things in his tweets. So Sputnik's talking about it. Let's see.
And guys, while we're doing that, thank you so much for being here. This has been a long stream, hour and a half. Tel Aviv was not hit tonight in my chat.
I don't think that we're going to get more.
Listen, I trust my guys more than I trust somebody in the chat. I promise you. I got the pick direct. So let's see here. What we were saying was thank you. I do want to do this. And for anybody that gave a super chat or a thanks on Prof's channel, thank you. Petra Olson with love to Ukraine. Thank you. Johnny Nedregard, Norwegian, Alan Dweller, Hello Hope Train, Norwegian Kroner 22. Thank you. Papa Dutch, $10 super chat. I had shared with everybody. It was just going to be no way to keep up because we're looking at so many screens trying to update you, not really reading chat. And Warrior Woman asking for an update in Ukraine. I will give you that as well before we sign off.
Yeah, no, we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
I mean, we'll keep on top of what's going on in Ukraine, but this is really vital too. And if you care about Ukraine, you should care about this because of what's also how they're related.
We need to. I need to show y'all one thing about Ukraine right now that I can. Papa Dutch, $10 super chat. I can't shank that notion that nobody built a large-scale facility unless their pilot facility succeeded. Correct. Susan Yantha, Canadian, $13.99. Thank you, Susan, for your support and your care. Mark Biscu. There you go. Now, that's a legendary family. Ukrainian, Olena. And I visited her family multiple times there in Ukraine. And Mark, big supporters of Johnny Pierce and mine and Ukraine. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for complimenting, enjoying listening to Prof and myself. We deeply appreciate that. Just talk about this. Mark was saying they live close to the G7 meeting in Canada. When Trump left, the air suddenly smelled cleaner. I got you, Mark. Tuna gifting 5 memberships. Thank you. Steve Lachance, $19.99 super chat. Eat the taco. You know, we're going to find out if Trump always chickens out on this situation. It's a good thing.
That's a profound thought. Like,
yes.
Is that always, or is it only selective? And if selective, why is it selective? And if it's always, we'll find that out shortly. But it doesn't feel like that's where it's going to go right now. It feels like he's going to be really backing Netanyahu's play. And I don't know what that means. If that means that U.S. activated, or if it means that we're going to give them some kind of weapon, or what exactly. I think the odds get worse for Iran to the degree that they think it's a good idea to hit American troops somewhere in the region. I think that's pretty fair.
I don't think it would matter who was president if Iran is slinging missiles right now at Israel after being warned aggressively, and the U.S. has moved serious equipment into the region, and the threats have come, security meetings, and you still sling missiles. And then on top of that, if you sling something at an American target, you in trouble. Stephen LaChance, eat the taco. Papa Dutch, $2. Bad Chihuahua. No taco for you. Wild Rest Rosie, $10. Is there any chance that Iran has acquired a nuke from another country?
I don't think that that's really an easy thing to do.
I don't either.
I would say we talk about
about
as armchair whatever. We talk about it like, oh, what if they did this, or what if they did? Some of these things are harder logistically than you might imagine. But let's play that out. Let's say that they did get something and they hit Israel with it. it'd be on like Donkey Kong. So I mean, that would be a very poor path too.
And thank you guys for staying with us so long. Do you realize we're even having this conversation where we are literally talking about nuclear war?
Because Iran's a bad actor and everybody knows it. And like, nobody's talking about this with, I don't know, fill in the country. So pick a country that starts with any letter of the alphabet other than I. Other than R and I. And like, the odds are that they're not a bad actor. Romania, that's the first one. I don't know, Jakarta, Indonesia, right? Like, there's not a, like,
well, let's think about
they're
it.
Not.
Is France nuclear? Yes.
Yes, but they're not any threat.
That's my point. Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So
Daddy Jim gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, Big Daddy. Tito Valenzuela from Honduras, a big supporter of Ukraine. Thank you, Tito. Dunk on you. Here, finally, work late, $20 and gifting 10 memberships. Thank you, Dunk. Papa Dutch, 5. Scott Ritter sounds like the International Enquirer. Man, the next time you go live on your own and we're not like doing it, Papa Dutch needs to come troll your chat with the wisdom he puts out. Daddy Jim, 10 quid. Thank you, Greg, for all you do. Voice of reason, voice of compassion. You must have Ukrainian blood in you. Slava Ukraina, always. I believe so. R, $20 hot dog. Hi, Greg and Dr. Gerdes. Thanks for everything you guys do for Ukraine. Daddy Jim gifting 5 memberships. Maximus 89922 quid. Putin puppet, excuse me, 10 quid. Trump's action and plan, 1 world, 3 empires, predicted by George Orwell. Ukraine, later entire Europe for Putin in exchange for Canada and Greenland. Yeah, there's actually been a lot of talk about that, dividing up the world 3 ways, and been hearing a lot about it. China,
Yeah,
Russia,
you haven't heard a lot about this
United
Canada,
States.
Greenland, Panama stuff anytime in the last month, have you?
Oh, that's because
Notice how that all fell off?
Oh, Macron went to Greenland and said, well, no, EU has an interest here, and Russia said we have an interest here. And
Yeah, but it all fell to the side.
Exactly.
It wasn't going to
All
go
right,
anywhere. It was never calculated to go anywhere.
Let me update you guys. I know there's so many people that care for Ukraine. Then I'll check the final messages coming in. And if we don't have anything from President Trump by that time, we'll take a break and be ready to update you guys again if need be. But for sure, make sure you have that notification bell on. But Ukraine, let me tell you what Ukraine is seeing tonight. You can see the air raid alarms that are in Donetsk, Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia, and I can confirm with you that there have been strikes in Zaporizhia tonight and in Dnipro tonight. So that's it. Not massive like last night in Kyiv to this point, but it's only 1:15 a.m. there. We'll see. It looks like Vladimir Putin is loving the distraction. Let me go here.
And that is a big distraction for him. He would like that. I don't think he wants to lose Iran as an ally, but it is working out for him to see the distraction elsewhere.
Man. Okay, so I don't want to show this one because the boom's really big. I want to keep our channels, safe from being marked as.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I do too. That's why I didn't even turn the sound up on these. I don't want to hear the air alarm and all that, but big hit from Iran outside Tel Aviv. Big one. Confirmed. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Got anything else, or we're going to release people?
No, we're going to release in just a minute.
Some people have to pee,
Yeah, I know. 1 second. I'm just checking. Do you have anything on Truth Social while I check mine?
I haven't seen anything else.
Okay. Then, guys, we want to say thank you. And we'll see. We will see. It's it. Pause. I'm checking the last ones. I think we're clear. So thank you guys very much.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you see us live again, it'll be probably because something just popped and you want to see that thing that just popped.
Yes.
We don't do this lightly. We record if we're just going to record. If we show up live, there's something just happened. So look for that. If you see that, jump on.
Blonde Bombshell are also crew member and one of my mods, member 15 months, with a big message to her mom, Sunny, and gifting 20 memberships. Guys, thank you for everything. Thank you for being here for the last hour and 47 minutes. And like Prof said, anything changes, we will update you. And that literally means if we get off of here and in 10 minutes, Trump says he's going to speak in 10, we'll be right back. So everybody take a restroom break, get some tea, and make sure the notification bell is on. Thank you. And I'll just, I'm going to roll the outro so people can say bye to each other. Here we go. Stay there 1 minute, Prof.
Slava Ukraini.